Battletech, is it a viable replacement for 40k? So first off, I'm very, very happy to see that Battletech has had such a resurgence. It's an amazing game, but is it a replacement for 40k? My answer is no. It is not a replacement to 40k, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. Is it a viable alternative to 40k? Yes, but is it a replacement? I do not believe so. So I've been into Battletech since the 90s. As you can see here, this is my 3rd edition box set. I probably bought when I was about 12, 13 years old. So I've been playing Battletech on and off almost as long as I've been playing 40k on and off. So a lot of my knowledge in this is going to be back in time, but fans of the channel know that basically I am an Oldhammer guy, and surprise, surprise, I am an old Battletech guy as well. So first off, what is Battletech? Well, Battletech, a game of armoured combat, essentially is a skirmish game. I wouldn't call it a war game. It's a skirmish game that you generally play on a hexagonal map, like so, using miniatures, and also you would be using the quintessential Battletech record sheet. So how does a game of Battletech essentially work? It's turn-based. You've got your mech here, similar to 40k. You're going to be rolling your dice, see if you hit, movement, all the rest of it. If you do hit the mech, you're going to do damage to the armor, and once the armor's gone, you're going to be doing damage to the internals here, and depending on where you roll, what you do is going to depend on what damage you do to the mech. So kind of reminiscent of maybe the 2nd edition of 40k, where you would hit a specific location and roll on the damage table to see what happens. Now the miniatures, you know, that's what we're all here for, right? The miniatures. So the miniatures that I have are ancient. So what you can see here is a selection of 90s battle mechs. Now a lot of people are 3D printing their battle mechs, and they look absolutely amazing. My models are a little bit hit and miss, shall we say. So first, let's take a good Battletech mini from the 80s or 90s. This is the Atlas. This is made out of metal. It's got my period paint job on there. So yeah, so when I was about 15 years old, that was the sort of painting I was doing. As you can see, this model holds up quite well. This is the Commando. Again, holds up pretty well, and it's, you know, it's got a cool look about it. Again, this one's metal. Now, some of the cheese models that haven't held up very well at all are something like this. I think this one's called a Crockett. So even with that, I would say half decent paint job, nice goblin green base there, until it's period appropriate look. You know, something like this just really has not aged very well. And now Battletech have significantly, you know, improved the look of some of the mechs. Now, something that you guys might be looking at here is some of these mechs are absolutely terrible. This is the kind of quality that you used to get in the box set straight out. So this is a Locus, and see, so it sticks together like that, and you can see, look at the bendy, horrible plastic on it. Let's pull out another mech. I think this one's so this one's a Griffin, and I don't know if it will come out on screen, but these plastic mechs are hollow, and they are absolutely awful. Here's a rifleman here. A lot of the mechs out of this 3rd edition box set are what are known as like the unseen mechs. A lot of people are going towards Battletech because of the whole IP and copyright thing and boycotting Games Workshop. However, Battletech has been involved in its own copyright scandals in the past. These mechs that we're looking at here, the unseen mechs, I'm going to pull out the old the Battletech battle menu that's seen better days. So like things like this Marauder, this Rifleman, these mechs were essentially embroiled in a massive copyright battle. Some of you might notice that some of these mechs are just complete rip-offs. That's another one. Complete rip-offs of anime mechs. So it's quite interesting to see people going towards Battletech because of like GW's IP policies. But anyway, I digress. So the game itself is a very, very good game. However, in earlier editions, it could be considered a little bit clunky. Now, the reason I would not say that this game is a replacement for 40k is that the game itself is just so different. Like I said, it's a skirmish game. It's not a tabletop war game where you've got two opposing armies. Really, with Battletech, what you're looking at is commanding maximum 5 or 6 mechs, because otherwise the game is just too slow. So two of the big mechanics of this are, as we mentioned before, using those data sheets, but also heat build up. So you need to keep track every time you fire a weapon, every time you move, every time you do anything in Battletech, you need to make a note of it and keep track of your heat signature. Right? You can overload your mech and blow it up essentially if you do too much. You know, that's part of the risk. So you might want to push your mech to the absolute maximum, firing all weapons, running along, jumping up, but you might overload your reactor and you might blow up incidentally. So it's kind of like a heavy plasma gun in 40k or something like that. So it's just like your mech is just basically a walking heavy plasma gun. So if you imagine if you have 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going on more mechs, trying to keep track of all of that heat and stuff is just not feasible. So again, like if you're thinking of joining Battletech and having these big, massive 20, 30 mech games, it's just not going to happen. I mean, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Is it going to be fun? Probably not. So that is why I would say Battletech is not a replacement for the game of 40k,